Today we are going to look at solving index equations. I'm going to start with this first question. Solve 1 all over 81 raised to the power of x minus 2, bracket close, equal to 27 raised to the power of 1 minus x. We are going to look at that. First, we apply indices in evaluating the both sides and try to make sure that we raise them to a given base that is the same. Now, 81 can be written in index form as 3 raised to power of 4. Let's look at that. 81 can be written as 3 raised to power 4. So we can now write this here as what? 1 all over 3 raised to power 4, open bracket, x minus 2. While 27 can be written as what? 27 can be written as 3 raised to the power of 3. So we can now write 3 raised to power 3, bracket open, 1 minus x. From our indices, 1 all over this value is the inverse. So it now becomes what? 3 raised to power minus 4, open bracket, x minus 2, equal to 3 raised to 3, 1 minus x. So this is what we have. So what do we have now? The two sides of the equation is now standing on the same base. We have succeeded in making both of the sides to be in the same base. Because they are now on the same base, the value above will also be equal. So we cancel. The base cancel out. We now have minus 4, open bracket, x minus 2, equal to 3, open bracket, 1 minus x, bracket close. So we are going to expand our bracket. Minus 4 times x will give us what? Minus 4x. And minus 4 times minus 2, it will give us what? Minus times minus becomes what? Plus. This becomes plus 8. This is equal to, expand this, 3 times 1 gives us what? 3. And 3 times minus x will give us what? Minus 3x. So what do we have now? We are going to bring all the like terms together. We bring the like terms together. We are going to move our 3x, or better still, we move our minus 4x to the other side, and we move our 3 to cross to the other side. So when 3 crosses the equality sign here, the sign of 3 here is positive. It now changes to become what? Negative. So we now have what? 8 minus 3 equal to minus 4x. We cross the equality sign, becomes what? Plus. So it now becomes what? 4x minus 3x. 8 minus 3 will give us what? 5. Equal to 4x minus 3x will give us what? X. So therefore, x is equal to what? 5. Example 2. Let's say we are given a question like this. If 3 raised to power x plus 3 raised to power x plus 1 is equal to 36, you have to find the value of x. Now, how do we do that? Let's look at that. Solution. 3 raised to power x plus 3 raised to power x plus 1 equal to what? 36. This can be written as what? 3 raised to power x plus, this will give us what? 3 raised to power x, bracket 3. From our law of indices, what do we have here? This is the same thing as 3 raised to power x times 3 raised to power 1. This is our 3 raised to power 1. And we have this equal to what? 36. Equal to 36. Now, what is common here? 3x is common to both sides. So we now have what? 3x, open bracket, 1 plus what? 3 is equal to what? 36. 3x open bracket, 1 plus 3 is equal to what? 36. So 1 plus 3 will give us what? 4. So we now have what? 4, open bracket, 3 raised to power x is equal to what? 36. So we now have what here? 3 raised to power x is equal to what? 36 divided by 4. When we divide 36 by 4, what are we going to get? It's giving us what? 3 raised to power x is equal to what? 9. We now have 9. And 9 can be written as what? This is 3 raised to power x is equal to what? 3 raised to power 2. 9 can be written as 3 raised to power 2. Now, both sides now have the same base. Can cancel out the base. Our x is equal to what? 2. So the most important thing in solving problems with index that are in equation is that when we try as much as possible to make the two sides of the equation, their base to be the same, then the base can do what? They can eliminate themselves out. Let's look at a third example. Let's look at a third example. Question number 3. Let's say we have this. If 8 raised to power x over 2, for example, is given as being equal to, let's say, 2 raised to power 3 over 8, then let's say times 4 raised to power 3 over 4. And we're to find x. Solution. We have 8 raised to power x over 2 is equal to what? 2 raised to power 3 over 8 times 4 raised to power 3 over 4. 8 can be written as what? 2 raised to power 3. So we now have 2 raised to the power of 3, open bracket, x over 2. This is what? 2 raised to the power of, raised to power 3 over 8 times 4 can be written as what? 2 raised to the power of 2. And this is now open bracket 3 over 4. What do we have? Now, this can be written as what? 2 raised to power what? 3x over 2 equal to 2 raised to power what? 3 over 8 times, this is 2 raised to power what? These 2 can cancel here. We now have 3 over 2. Look at that. We have 2 times 3 over 4. 2 cancel. So we now have 3 over 2. That becomes our new value. From indices, this can be written as what? 2 raised to power 3x over 2 equal to, this is 2 raised to power 3 over 8. Because they are multiplying, you add them now. 3 over 2. What do we have? The base is now equal. It's now the same. Their base is 2. So the base can cancel out. Base cancel out. And we now have what? 3x over 2 is equal to what? 3 over 8 plus 3 over 2. So we're going to look for the LCM. Look for the LCM in this place. What's the LCM? The LCM is 8. 8 divided by 8, we have 1. And 1 times 3 gives us what? 3. Plus 8 divided by 2, we have what? 4. 4 times 3 will give us what? 12. So that gives us what now? What do we have? We have 15 over what? 8. 15 over 8. We have 3x over 2 equal to what? 15 over 8. So we want to look for the value of our x. Let's look for the value of our x. We cross multiply the values. Our 2 will go up to multiply 15. 3 will come down to multiply 8. So our x is equal to what? 15 times 2 all over 8 times 3. So this will give us what? Now look at that. What do we have? 2 will cancel 8. What do we have? 4. So we now have 15 all over what? 4 times 3. What can divide here? 3 will cancel and will give us what? 5. So we now have 5 all over 4. So our answer can be written as being equal to 1 whole number, 1 all over 4. There are times equations in index form can move you into another topic in mathematics. Most times they move you into quadratic what? Equations. We are going to look at one more example. Let's look at a question like this. This is index work also in equation. Our 9 can be written as what? 3 raised to power 2 x minus, this is now what? 3 raised to power x bracket 4, then plus 3 is equal to what? 0. From indices, we can write this value now again as 3 raised to power x, open bracket, raised to power 2. This 2x can be written in this form, minus 4, open bracket, 3 raised to power x, then plus 3 is equal to what? 0. Now what do we see? You can see that 3 raised to power x is common, 3 raised to power x is also common here. We can decide to replace this value or substitute it with another letter. Let me say, for example, let y be equal to 3 raised to power x. We are going to use a value to represent 3 raised to power x. It means that wherever we have 3 raised to power x in this equation, we are going to put y. So now this equation now becomes what? Y squared minus 4y plus 3 is equal to what? 0. The equation has now been changed into what? A quadratic what? Equation. This is a quadratic equation in mathematics. Now we can solve the quadratic equation by using factorization method. In our factorization method, we look for the product of the first term and the last term here. And that gives us what? 3y squared. We are going to look for two values whereby if we multiply them, it is going to give us this product. But when we add them up, it's going to give us minus 4y. And what will be that value? That value will be minus y minus 3y. Minus y minus 3y will give us minus 4y. But minus y times minus 3y will give us 3y squared. So we are going to use it now to replace this value here. So we now have y squared minus y minus 3y plus 3 is equal to what? 0. This is another aspect of mathematics entirely called quadratic equation. You can see that the index equation have moved us now into a quadratic what? Equation. So what do? We are going to take these values here 2 by 2 and bring out the things that are common. What is common here? Y is common. So y, open bracket, we now have what? Y minus 1 and the bracket closed. What is common here in these two? 3 is common, we now have minus 3, open bracket. This will give us what? Y minus 1, bracket closed, equal to 0. What do you notice? The values in the bracket, they are always the same in a quadratic equation. So we are going to take the values outside to multiply the values in bracket. So we now have y minus 1, open bracket, then we now have what? Y minus 3. This is equal to 0. So this means that y minus 1 is equal to 0 or y minus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore, what do we have? It means y is equal to 1. When minus 1 crosses the equality sign, it becomes 1. Y is equal to 1 or y is equal to what? 3. We have succeeded in finding the value of y, but we are to find the value of x. So let's go back to this our equation. What is y? 3 raised to power x. So, hence, what do we have? If y is equal to what? 3 raised to power x, or we say that 3 raised to power x will now be equal to 3 when y is equal to 3. So, what do we have? The two bases is now the same. 3 is the same thing as 3 raised to power what? 1. So, if we cancel the base, we are going to have what? X is equal to what? 1. So, when y is equal to 1, what are we going to get? 3 raised to power x will be equal to what? 1. Now, from our law of indices, 1 is what? Any value raised to power 0 is equal to 1. So to make the base to be equal, we can still say 3 raised to power x is equal to what? 3 raised to power what? 0. Since 1 is this, 3 raised to power 0 is the same thing as 1. So that the base can cancel out, so our x is equal to 0. So therefore, x is equal to 0 or 1.